Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobes show today, Wednesday, 20th of June 2018, coming live. If you're watching on Facebook at 8 p.m. British summertime, live, ladies and gentlemen, from Worthing in West Sussex at the foot of the South Downs and the edge of the English Channel. Yes, live, ladies and gentlemen, and today I'm flying solo. Yes, flying solo. No guests today. No guests, but a few little surprises in store. Certainly for me. And I'm hoping actually they're not going to be surprises. I'm hoping that they're going to be things that I've expected. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you suddenly see me go like this quite a bit or twiddle around with my ear, I've just leapt out of the bath, ladies and gentlemen. That's because I've been clearing the house today, the old father's house, the remains of the father's house, scrabbling about in the attic, pulling stuff down, separating stuff with my sister into different areas of Dad's house, covered in dust, covered in mud and muck and all that sort of filth, ladies and gentlemen. Filth! I've been covered in filth. So I thought just before I decided to do the show, because I was so mucky, I better go and have a bit of a bath, and so that's what I've done. But of course, you know what it's like when you're in the bath and you're splashing around, getting everything all nice and spruce and clean and refreshed, making sure your hair is beautifully sheeny and delightful, ironing out those curls, making myself have a beautiful fringe, all that sort of malarkey. You know what that's like? And then you get water in the ears and you go, hang on a minute, I can't hear anything. I'm as deaf as a post, ladies and gentlemen. Deaf as, what did you say? Deaf as a post, which is a little bit of a shame. We don't like any of that. Anyway, never mind all that nonsense. Is anybody there? Anybody there? Anybody out there live? If you're watching YouTube, of course, I know you're watching a little later on, and you're always welcome. I appreciate you coming after the event. So Judith Oakley is there clapping or waving or some such nonsense. Andy Ash is smelling fresh, which is good. Jennifer Stewart has come along. Elaine Brazer saying it's nice to see you. I may be a bit squeaky clean today, which is rather good. Mark Selwood says hello. Linda Kane has arrived. Kevin Hall, Malcolm Glazier, Stuart Hall. If you are one of those people who have just tuned in and going, what is this about? Who is this bloke? What's it all about? Do say hello. Do come and make your entrance known. Lurking in the back is not permitted. If you're watching this and you're one of those lurkers, today is the day, because although you hear the same name like Chris Puller and Paul Watts and the lovely Julia and all those sort of people, if you're one of those and you haven't, you're not one of the regular crowd, the in crowd, that sort of thing, don't worry, because the admins there, the Judith Oakley, the Chris Puller, the lovely Julia, they will make you very, very welcome, as will everybody else. So if you're somebody who's watching and you rarely comment or don't comment at all, do make the effort today, because I'm on my own here, ladies and gentlemen. There is no guests whatsoever, just me, little old me, little young me, ladies and gentlemen. I was doing some exercises earlier today, doing a few pull-ups like this. Do you know, exercise is so much easier if you don't bother with all the weights. If you just, do that and make all the grunts and groans, particularly if you close the curtains, have a light behind you in the night, and you do it sort of in the early evening, so you cast a shadow on your curtains and you're going, like this, and you're doing all this sort of nonsense. Oh golly, the neighbours across the road, they think you're a he-man. They just see the shadows of you and think, oh, he's clanking stuff together. You could hold a couple of shoes, I'm sure, or some dinner plates, probably dinner plates. Hold the dinner plates that way around as you lift them up like this, and they'll think they're massive, great big weights, and they'll think, oh, I'm never going to meddle with him. If he parks his car in my space, I'm never going to meddle with him, because obviously he must be a he-man. Don't open the curtains and do it, and then they'll see the wimp that you really are, and that's not the idea to do it. So there we go. Anyway, yes, Judith Oakley says that we are a very welcoming group. So if you're sitting there lurking about in the background, then do come along. It's always lovely to see you. Mark Selwood says that he is in the in crowd, which is rather good. I thought I had oh no, I don't have the in crowd. There is a piece of music called the in crowd, and I don't have it set up on my thing. I need to vary everything. I need to, these moments moments when I have a bit of downtime, I should vary my music collection because it's the same old nonsense time in, time out. But anyway, where's the bit I thought, oh, here, this is a nice tune. Now, the reason I'm playing the tune is I have been purchasing, ladies and gentlemen, I've been purchasing things on Amazon. Yes, I've been purchasing some stuff on Amazon. I thought, as it arrived at about 5:30 this evening, I thought it'd be quite good to just get them out and open them live on the show, because actually these are Bald Explorer bits and pieces that I need for when I go to the Forest of Dean, which is only next week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not really prepared, I'm not ready, but I have been thinking about it. And actually, in the other room, I meant to bring it in. In the other room, I've actually got a little book with a number of walks. I'll show you that. I'm going to leap out a little bit later and grab that. We've also got the lovely Maggie Walter out and about somewhere in Britain. But where? She's going to tease us with where is she, and I'm going to get you guys to have a guess. But before all of that, let me tell you, over at the Bald Explorer page, over at the Bald Explorer group, if you're a member of the Bald Explorer group, you may want to check that out, because we now have an amazing 751 members. And if you're not a member of the Bald Explorer group, you've never heard of it, and you've sort of stumbled along by mistake to this weird and wacky show, then don't let that worry you, because the Bald Explorer group is where a lot of the people that you'll see here today are all very welcome, and they all chat and have a nice time. Joe Smith has just said, cannot stay too long, but are you up for going to a small... Oh, here we go. Are you up for going up in a small plane over Biddenden in November? Yes, I am, Joe. You may be interested to know that actually I've been up in a microlight, which was fantastic, and one of those... Well, I don't know what you call them. They're like a microlight, but it was with a canopy of like a parachute. I don't know whether that's parascending, paragliding. Is it paragliding? I don't know what it is. Anyway, it's like in a go-kart with one of those. Yes, definitely up for that. Definitely film the thing. Definitely share it across the world. It will be a hoot. So, Joe, put me down for that. My dates in November. Let me just check my diary. Yes, they're all available. Yes, they're all available. Very excited about this Biddenden stuff, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in Kent, because I'm going to be going in July, mid-July, going to do some interviews with some very exciting people, all about memories of a village. I think we're going to focus in for the next couple of months on a village and just really find out what makes a village tick. We're going to talk to the farmers, we're going to talk to the villagers, we're going to talk, maybe get hold of the vicar, if we can get hold of the vicar and say, yeah, vicar, tell us about the murder, because I gather there was a rather interesting murder in the church at Biddenden or nearby, or something to do with a vicar or something like that. Anyway, we'll get the story and we'll bring it to you, so that's all quite good. Andy Ash is going, blimey, Vobesy up in a plane on his own, no parachute. Yeah, scary stuff, but I'll be all right. Maybe the lovely Julia can come along and run underneath and catch me if I fall. Will you catch me, lovely Julia, if I fall? Will you be there one to catch a falling Vobe? Catch a falling Vobe and put him in your pocket, save him for a rainy day. You never know, she may do. With her purple hair, I'd know where to land, wouldn't I? I'd just go, way! Not that I'm saying that this plane is too rickety to take the Vobie one-eyed Kenobi, but what kind of plane is it? Is it a Sopwith Camel? That would be fun, wouldn't it? A Sopwith Camel. Anyway, yes, Joe, put me down for that. That would be fantastic. How wonderful. And Joe's just said, wonderful, wunderbar, wunderbar. Be so exciting. That's very exciting. Get the vicar up in the plane, says Andy Ash. Yes, well, there you are. And as he goes over, he can bless everybody with holy water like that, can't he? I can't do that thing. You know, what's that thing they do with the goggles? Oh, that's the... I can't do it. Where they... I bless you, I bless you, I bless you, I bless you. Oh, I bless you. Which would be very funny. A bit of wing walking, says Andy. Yeah, well, hold on. Don't get too carried away. I mean, it's one thing to go up in the small plane and fly around Biddington and wave the Vobes flag. It's quite another to go out wing walking. I don't know how strong the wing is on the plane. For all I know, it could be a doodle bug. It's one way to get rid of the Vobes. Yeah, get him in a doodle bug. Tell him it'll be all right until the engine cuts out. Uh-oh. You don't get rid of me that easily, I can tell you. Anyway, so that sounds really good. Jennifer Stewart says, Snoopy flies a Sopwith camel, and that looks like a doghouse. Yeah, well, actually, I know Paul Hine knows about this. I'm pretty sure it was Paul Hine. Oh, no, wait a minute. It was Cushty Phil, that's right. He knows about Sopwith camels because I believe that somewhere is the... I've got on the cards to go and visit. Shush, don't tell anyone. The gravestone of the bloke who invented the Sopwith camel. I think it was the bloke or the first person to fly. I can't remember if what's his face is Cushty Phil is there. What's his face? I do beg your pardon. Julia Hartley says, can we reenact the video clip of the accidental wind-walking cat on a microlight? She'll be the cat. Is that a famous internet clip, meme, whatever you call it? That may well be it. Yes, we can certainly do that. You can sit there and I'll caress your head. You know, what is it you do to a cat? Stroke. There we are. I'll have a stroke on your head as we're flying. It'd make good publicity video, actually, for the Bald Explorer and the lovely Julia. With the lovely Julia, we need to get one of those twin... Not that I can fly, but I think Julia, she's had a go, well, on one of these simulators. That's good enough, isn't it? It's good enough. I can steer a lawnmower. I mean, between the two of us, what could possibly go wrong? We may end up in the Soviet Union, never to return. Julia? I'm not sure we're supposed to be this far east. Hey ho. Anyway, we may end up in a gulag, which is not very nice because when the gravy gets round and you get all stewed up, ooh, it's nasty. Sticky, I think is what they say. Sticky. Anyway, so never mind all that. Shirley Ward has joined. Hello, Shirley. You've managed to get your internet connection working and all good. Thank you, it's so nice to see you. Elaine Brazier says, hope your day has been good. Nikki says it has. Alex Whitlock says, worked at the Royal Hotel Simmons Yacht in the aforementioned forest during my summer in the UK. Oh, the Forest of Dean. Oh, that's interesting. Simmons Yacht. Yes, must go to Simmons Yacht and stroke their cat, which would be very nice. Julia says, I link the vid to group. No one's going to be touching that frightened kitty. Poor old frightened kitty. What a shame. Cushty Phil. Yes. Richard. Tommy Sopwith. There we go. The inventor of the Sopwith camel. I'm going to go and visit his grave one of these days and need to sort out when, actually. It's going to be, well, I don't know, because I've got the Forest of Dean coming up and there's bits and bobs happening, but there we are. Anyway, Steve Blakey says, evening, the lovely Julia and Mr. Bald Explorer. Good evening to you, Steve. And yes, we have got still in mind to come round. We want to find a day where we can come to your place and bring the show to you. We've figured that's probably going to be the best. So maybe we can come round, have a cup of tea, see the layout of where you are, work out how we could do the show, and then get you to do a hillbilly dance routine. Or, of course, with your new legs, you could do Michael Flatterly's river dance. I think you'd be up to that by now, surely. I'd give you plenty of time to practice. Or we'll get you to do a Tommy Steele routine with the old tap dance. So there you go, Steve. Something to work on whilst we're away, whilst we work it all out. Now, I've got parcels, ladies and gentlemen. You got post. Do you remember that? Do you remember in the early days of the internet, I think it was AOL who used to have this, you've got post. And then over in, if you did a UK account, it had said, you've got mail. But I had an American account, my first ever internet email address. I can't remember what it was. It was some random number, da-di-da-di-diddly-do, diddly-diddly-dum. And every time something would get, you've got post, would come through, which was a very stupid thing. Anyway, so there we go. Right. What should we do? It's like Christmas, this. It's a couple of things I've ordered, ladies and gentlemen. Should we do the big parcel? Should we do the small parcel? Should we do the big parcel? No, that's the big parcel. Or the small... I'm going to do the big parcel. Yeah, do the big parcel. Very exciting. Come on, let's get in there. Come on. Now, bear in mind, I can return this back to Amazon, so I don't want to muck up too much. I mustn't muck up too much the packaging because I may want to return it just in case, you know, if if it's got the wrong number of teeth in the comb that I've ordered, then I should be very upset. Right, here we go. What have we got here? No, it's not new toilet paper. Definitely not. The suspenders is killing me. Oh, that was my back going. Did you hear that? Wait a minute, I've got a load of fresh air. I think I'll be returning that. What's going on? Oh, this little thing fell out. What can it be? What can it be? Well, I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, very simply, it is a gorilla pod. You may ask yourself, what is a gorilla pod? Well, you know I'm going to be blogging every day whilst I'm away, and also, of course, before then and after then in the Vobes blogs, special blogs. Why do they make these things so tricky to get into? This is the bit I don't want to ruin in case I do have to send it back, but we'll struggle on with this. Here we go. Look at that. Some strange looking antennae. It is, of course, a gorilla pod to hold your SLR camera. I haven't had one of these. I've never had one of these. I've been looking forward to having one of these. So what you do is you stick your camera on here and it sits on the desk like that, or it can go in funny shapes. So it can go... The idea is that round branches, when I'm out, if my arm is a branch, you could stick it on a branch, put your camera on there and do it at any angle. So that's what that is, and that looks okay. That looks okay. You can probably get a head on there if you a head on there. You can probably screw a little head on there as well to do it. But for the moment, that will be fine. That will be fine. It's for these uneven places. If I want to, you know, do a bit of stuff, I thought that's going to be quite essential. Also, you can stick your camera on the top like this. It's a funny old thing, isn't it? You can stick your camera on the top and hold it and use that as a handle and hold it and you know, do a bit of instant blogging. And I should tell you, so that's really cool. Good. Now, I should tell you that these video blogs that I'm doing, these special sort of things, these are going to be for the patrons, by the way. I'm going to do walks, and they're going to go out for everybody while I'm away on the Forest of Dean. And, of course, I do these weekly behind-the-scenes vlogs now. You get a weekly vlog. Last week's one went out and everybody seemed to enjoy it, apart from those who put the thumbs down, but we won't talk about them. But everyone seemed to enjoy it, and the consensus was that it was a great thing. Well, I've been doing more of those, one with my sister, a couple with me, and there'll be a bit more coming up, and they go out on Sunday. But I'll also be doing a special Forest of Dean vlog as I go about. So I'll be doing the walking videos, which is all very exciting. And then if these walks are going to be a bit longer than I normally do, I should do some vlogs as well, taking this and my camera and sticking it, you know, onto branches so that I can say hello. At least that's the idea. That's the idea. Hopefully this thing will work out. So I can't remember how much that was off the top of my head. About 35 quid, I think, if I remember rightly. There's a picture of how it works. There you go. They're very popular, very robust, I think. So I know there are cheaper ones. There are cheaper ones, but this is the official Joby Gorilla Pod for SLR. So very much looking forward to that. So that's really good. Mark says that will work out well in the sticks. You can always send it back afterwards. That's very true. You can get these for your mobile phones. Yes, it looks very useful. Hadn't a clue what you mean, Malk. Good. Malk is wearing a lot of talc. Have you seen one of those before? Have never seen one of those before. It's certainly a big one, Richard Suggett. Yes, I love that. Yes, well, you know, the thing is, I've got to try and make it really good for everybody. That's what we want. Todd Desborough is going, what the hell? Well, you know, ultimately, if you can't use it for the camera, it's always, I'm out on my own. You can always use it as a personal aid, should we say, for those long winter nights. Not that it will be winter. Now we're going to have a look at the next one. Oh, the excitement. What is in this one? What could it possibly be? Perhaps it's a hammock for, you know, sleeping out rough on the Forest of Dean. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? Who knows? Well, I can tell you, you're going to have to wait, because first of all, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to find out where Maggie is and what she's up to, because I can tell you, it's very exciting what Maggie is doing at the moment. And whilst Maggie's doing that, I'm going to leg it into the other room and get that little book that I was telling you about. So, Maggie, take it away.
Hello, gorgeous guys and girls. Robbie and I are very excited to be reporting from our camper van, Walter. It will be our first overnight stay. But where are we going?
So she doesn't give you much time to get into the back room and get what you need. But anyway, so where do you think she is? I love the idea of going along in the old camper van. That's what I need. Although I'm very keen to buy an Ariba Puck. I'd need another car and a little intimate Ariba Puck, which is a dinky little caravan. Lovely little cosy caravan for two. Well, or one, of course. Which would be very nice. So that would be ideal, because you could leave the caravan then and go off in the car. Although I think a camper van is just as nice, just as cosy, just as intimate, just as fun. And as long as you can get some 4G internet, you'd be laughing your socks off. So I've ordered this. Walking in the Forest of Dean. This I got second hand from the Zoom place, and there's, 25 routes in historic Royal Forest of Dean. So I'm going to pick a couple of those whilst I'm away. But really, I'm not going for very long. I'm only there for 4 days, and I'm staying 3 nights in this lovely gypsy caravan. But it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wonderful. So, but I hope I managed to do it justice. That is the key thing. Anyway, so I've ordered that as well. Spending the money, you see, spending the money that all your patronage is there. But you can see it is all going on work-related things. I can't remember. I think that little book was about £9. Something. I couldn't get a cheaper one. I'd always buy second-hand if I can. Apart from these gadgets, of course, I'll buy quality where, you know, the necessary quality. So that's really good. Camper vans rock, says Todd. Yes, I think you're right. The Peak District, says Kushti Phil. Yes, I do want to go into the Peak. This isn't the Peak District. This is the Forest of Dean, as we were talking about. That would be nice. But I'd love to go to the Peak District, and I do want to do that. If I don't manage it this year, we'll be going next year. Don't worry. We're going to cover all of Britain somehow or other, ladies and gentlemen. You stick with the Vobie one-eyed Kenobi. As long as I don't lose the other eye, or I'll be doing it with a stick. I'm going to cover all of England and Wales and Scotland, and we're going to go around and explore this wonderful country, this fantastic island, or series of islands, or whatever you want to call it, you know, the Great Britain thing, because it's going to be superb, and we're going to get around, and we're going to, you know, highlight those little places that don't get high. Everyone's gone to Stonehenge, and everyone's gone to the Hampton Court Maze. Everybody goes to these big places. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the more obscure, quiet places, the places where tradition still flourishes, where the architecture is still there, where you can still see the history, where you can sort of breathe the fresh air and see the wonderful wild flowers and that sort of thing. It's going to be fantastic. So there we go. So that's it. Elaine Brazier is suggesting the Lake District. That would be fantastic. Yes, of course. I mean, the Lake District, loads of people do go to the Lake District, of course, but I would love to go there because it is very picturesque. So that's all God. I nearly said then. Right, so, shall we do the second package? Shall we do the second package? Well, wait just a second. Before we get onto the second package, ladies and gentlemen, before we get onto there, I was going through my father's stuff, and he had a few books. He didn't have very many books that actually enticed me, because he had a lot of books on astronomy. It wasn't my sort of thing. But he was an aerial manufacturer in his life, designed and manufactured aerials for the marine industry, also for the army and the police, some covert aerials back in the day, all that sort of stuff. So there was a number of sort of electronics and those sort of things which weren't going to be good. However, I did find some that I thought could be quite interesting on the show. So this one here, mind-bending classic logical puzzles. Are you in for some mind-bending classic magical logical puzzles? I know the BBC do these puzzle of the day. So here I was looking through here, and I couldn't. I have to say I cheated. I had to look at the answers. So I'm going to set a puzzle. If I could find this one, and you see if you can work it out. Where is it? I need the picture of the pig. Where's the... I can't remember. I should have made a note of the number now. I'm feeling a fool. But he doesn't mind. He quite likes being felt. So let's see. There's somewhere... some of them are mathematical ones. Some of them are sort of weird, questiony ones. Some of them are logic... What's those ones that... Lateral thinking, that was the thing. Where's this pig one? I thought it'll be easy to find... Yeah, it's easy to find, isn't it? It's easy to find when you're not looking for it. Is it near the beginning? No. Oh, this is ridiculous. I just thought, oh yes, I'll find that one again, and of course now I can't. I'll come back to it if I can't find it in the next few seconds. When you want, I should have put a piece of paper in there. That shows me how prepared I was. Oh. You've managed to get away from having a puzzle there, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have a look during Maggie's next interesting diversion. We find out where she is. So let's go and have a look at parcel number 2. So here we are, parcel number 2. This was a little bit more expensive than parcel number 1. I'm hoping it is what I expected. I had a slight accident with something earlier in the week. I was testing some equipment, and one of my items didn't work. In fact... one of the items that didn't work was a microphone that I bought, which is the lapel tie-clip microphone that I wear when I go on my own and do solo stuff. And you know, when I'm on my own, I don't have the microphone and the little recorder bolted on because I'm with somebody and I need to direct the microphone in that instance. I have a little microphone with a wire. Well, this little wire has got frayed on the plug, and unfortunately the manufacturer that do this microphone was about £200, and this has got frayed on this proprietary plug, and it's just a damn nuisance. So I'm going to have to cut the wire and somehow manage to rethread it and solder it onto another plug, which it's very difficult because the wire is so thin, so tiny. So I've got to think of a different way of doing that. And I don't want to risk that and have it not work because it was just making horrible distorting sound. So I was looking for another solution, and I discovered, and I'd looked at this actually. Martin Snow originally alerted me to this. This is the Zoom F1. Now, I haven't tried it out. Don't know whether it's going to do the thing, but it is a small recorder with a microphone, with a lapel microphone. And the idea is that, of course, I'm going to have the microphone threaded down to the recorder on my belt, and you can switch it on and then turn on the gimbal with the GoPro, sync the two together, and then in the edit, you know, in the same way that I would work. It's just before I had it going to a different recorder. But this is all one thing. So I've no idea. I've not tested this out. Don't know if it'll work, but the reviews are pretty okay. So I needed to find something. It was 100. I can't remember what I paid now. It's 150 or something, 160 pounds, something like that, of the patrons' money. I have to point out, because obviously, but it's for a worthy cause. It's going to record some fantastic audio. Audio, I think, is the most important thing on a video. The picture is secondary. There's a tip that not many people will tell you. So here we go. Look at this. This is one of these unboxing moments that we do occasionally on these videos. So it actually comes with batteries. Did you look at that? Look at that. It actually comes with batteries. So there we go. Mark Selwood says it's one of the more well-known standing stones in Cornwall. Yeah, it is actually. What? No, it's not. I don't know what you're talking about. Todd Desborough says, I need to get some of that Gorilla Glue for my canoe. Yes, so we can make it over there. That's a good idea. Nice zip sound from the parcel. The Merry Maidens. Oh, the Merry Maidens. That's what he's talking about in Todd. Is there... Anyway, people are talking amongst themselves whilst I'm gabbling on. So I'm just opening up this. There's some instructions in it, but the most important thing is to try and open... Here we go. So this is the unit. It's sort of a bit plasticky, but Zoom, some of their Zoom stuff is a bit plastic. There's a bit of metal on there, a little bit of metal. Looks all right. Have a look at that. See what you make of it. I'm just try and get it in the light. There we go. So that's the Zoom. So this threads on your belt. If you notice, it's quite clever. This threads on your belt. So that goes on your belt. The microphone plugs in there, in one of those. I guess the other one's a headphone. Yeah, line in for the mic. And it's got a reasonably good switch on. I'm trying to... That red button here, it looks like it's quite good for just pressing on, pressing off to record. So I quite like that. They've actually thought about this. And when you're recording, so when I'm walking with my gimbal in one hand and this is on my belt, it's one less thing to carry and click, on to record, turn the camera on. Should be good. Forest of Dean, that sort of thing. So that's marvellous. Microphone is just the little microphone lead. It's one of these little tie clip microphone here. Yeah, with a what's it face goes on there. Batteries for the thing, all the bits and bobs. So that looks very interesting. I shall test that out. Maybe I'll test that out before I go and put something up on the Tube of Views or on the Facebooks. The U face, the YEW face, U face, and the Tube of Views. So that's all very exciting. Now, what was I going to do? Oh, I was going to look for this puzzle whilst we go and check out what Maggie's up to. I'll catch up with your remarks. Zoom make great kit, says Nigel Sadler, so that will be good. Dan Thompson says he needs a nap. Oh, I'm not sure that that's appropriate. That's cool. Nice bit of kit, says Dave Baker. Nigel Sadler says, I've got the Zoom H1, H2, H4 and H6. You're just showing off. How many H Zooms do you need? Have you got the F1 though? One more to buy. Richard Suggett says, that'll be easier than my Zoom H1. The H1 is a great bit of kit, but this one looks fantastic because you can just have it on and your hands are free. Really handy, says Mark Selwood. I bought a cheap recorder from Amazon, a Sony one, cost me 50 quid. I had to Velcro it to the gimbal. Yeah, well, that's fine. If it works, there's nothing wrong with a bit of Velcro, I can tell you. Same idea for my camera clip, says Kevin Hall, yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to go and check this out and see if I can find that. In the meantime, let's find out from Maggie if we know where she is. Where do we suppose she is? So they've arrived at their destination. Didn't say very much in that one, I noticed, but they've arrived at their destination. Where are they? Where do you suppose Maggie is? Be interesting to get your thoughts. A road to nowhere. Snake Pass. Is that up north? She's in Timbuktu, says Jennifer Stewart. Dan Thompson says, OK, now I'm falling asleep. Why are you falling asleep, Dan? What is the matter? What is the matter? Why are you falling asleep? How about the FU, LOL? I don't know what Dan's on about. Why are you falling? If you don't enjoy the show, Dan, you should go and do something else. It's a bit weird. So anyway, whatever it is, it's beautiful. Wherever it is, Linda Kane, marvellous. Now let me tell you, I have got... I found it. Very simple. Are you good at puzzles? Here we go. There's a picture of a pig here. I'll show you the picture of the pig. So that's very nice. Okay, so here's the puzzle. This is number 56 if you've got the book and you've got time to look it up. It says, if a pig weighs 30 grams plus half its own weight, how much does it weigh? If a pig weighs 30 kilograms, if a pig weighs 30 kilograms plus half its own weight, how much does it weigh? There's a puzzle for you. If a pig weighs 30 kilograms plus half its own weight, how much does it weigh? When you know the answer, of course, you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. When you don't know the answer, add me going, duh, I don't know, was the thing. So anyway, so there we go. Package is done that. Oh yes, so marvellous. So, ladies and gentlemen, whilst you're working that up, wake Dan up, for goodness sake. Has he gone to sleep? Why has he gone to sleep? That road and the stream really relaxed me. Oh, Dan, for goodness sake. Shouldn't. This is not a hypnosis show. We're not sort of putting you into a deep hypnotic sleep, although I used to do a bit of hypnosis, actually. Maybe that would be good. Todd Desborough says the pig looks like my aunt. That's not very good. Kevin Hall is having a guess at 15 kilograms. What do you think? It's Pam Earnshaw says 30 kilograms. Richard Suggett says 45 kilograms. Which is the right answer? I'll read it one more time just so you can get... You've got to listen to the words very carefully. If a pig weighs 30 kilograms plus half its own weight, how much does it weigh? So if a kilogram weighs 30 kilograms plus half its own weight, how much does it weigh? Well, tell you in a mo. Judith Oakley says, oh, bum, the phone rang and I've missed half an hour of the show. Well, you have to go back, rewind, go back to the beginning. That's good. So anyway, numbers make my head hurt, says Linda Kane. I do apologise. Right, so anyway, whilst you're having a guess, I'll give you the answer to that. Let's go and have a look at the group and see what all you lovely people have been posting in the group today, because I'm sure... in the Bald Explorer group, on the Bald Explorer page, there's been lots of movement. Yes, and I'm not talking about you-know-what kind of movement. Enough of that. Right, okay, so here we go. First off, on the starting block, look at this strange-looking, funny critter. Yes, Mark Selwood's been out with his camera and his macro lens. And I have to say, he's done some very nice pictures. Go and check them out. I don't know what it is, but this looks like some sort of golden thing with some... It looks like it's got a little bug on its nose. Or that's a very large bogey sticking out. But a very curious thing. Did you ever find out what it was, Mark? Be interested to know about that. So thanks for sharing that. On the other hand, Linda Kane, she has been to West Grinstead. Now, this is a beautiful church. I've not been there. I've been to West Grinstead. St. George's Church. What a delightful place that is. She's got a nice set of photographs. Go and check them out. A bit of Horsham stone or Horsham slab, depending on what you want to call it. Lovely spire on the church there. It looks from the photograph like little wooden shingles, which I'm assuming it is, but maybe I've got that wrong. I often do. In the meanwhile, over the other side, in Eastbourne, Julie Ann Kench has been to Eastbourne Pier, and it's looking very nice with its golden little whatever you call those funny little golden dome shaped things on the top there. They're very nice, aren't they? Resplendent. I once wrote a children's book, and a second book, which I've never got published, unfortunately. The second book had the adventure, ended up with these three orphans, Wally, Jeffrey and Deirdre Dimple. It was just a second book. The first one was Escape from Snod Hill, and the second book was... Well, I can't remember the title now. It was a great book. Anyway, they end up down on Eastbourne Pier, funnily enough. They do end up on Eastbourne Pier, and one of them ends up flying a miniature Spitfire. And there's a terrible trauma as it's flying around Eastbourne Pier near the end of the book. A children's book, great fun, lovely children's book, I have to say. Henry David Allam has gone to Buxton in a blizzard, apparently. It can't be recently. He's got some nice section of pictures up there, which and I assume that's Buxton as in Buxton Springs, which is up near Manchester, isn't it? Well, sort of on that way. It's up north anyway, up north from Worthing. Everywhere's up north from Worthing. So that's all very nice. Glenn Johnson has been out at Wisley to a disused airfield. And he loves disused airfields. You can see there's a bit of farmers' crops going on there and what looks like some old farming equipment. But you can just about make out the airfield. And I'm assuming that when you say it's an old airfield, presumably he means from the Second World War. And I imagine that's the sort of place you get these ghost hunters popping along to go and check it out and see if there's anything spooky going along. However, not in Britain at all. Frank Carver has gone to Bulgaria, and that's a very old-looking church there. He's got, I think there's a couple more pictures where he's been posting in the Bald Explorer group in Bulgaria, which is remarkable. It just goes to show you how different the architecture is from Britain. A lot of pictures on poppies at the moment. People are posting lots of red poppies, but Wendy Wakelin says, in my garden I've got a white poppy. I didn't know you could get white poppies. I've seen sort of half pinky poppies and of course the red poppies. I think I've seen yellow poppies, but I don't know that I've seen white poppies. So that's quite interesting. Are they more potent for the old headaches? You know, you're supposed to get headaches, aren't you, if you sniff a poppy? Are they the same, or are they used for opium gathering? Don't know. Maybe you know. Let me know. And here, Paul Hind's been to Blandford. Is that Blandford Forum, I assume, in Dorset? You've got to go to the Forum. Everybody gets to the Forum, you know. So there's that lovely-looking church in the background there. If I remember rightly my history, I've been to Blandford Forum, and I think something like in the late 18th century, there was a massive fire and everything burnt down. A main town burnt down, all the wooden buildings. And so when you go there, there's no timber frame buildings at all because they were rebuilt the whole town over a period of time, but very much Georgian. It's a beautiful Georgian town. Definitely well worth going and have a look. I do remember that. Colin Brown has been up and away with his beautiful drone taking photographs here in Hastings, and he's got the beach down there with the little funicular that goes down the sort of cliff railway, and there's the cliffs. Absolutely stunning photographs. So Colin gets these amazing photographs from the air. He's not so interested in doing the movie stuff. He's interested more in taking the pictures and making them look stunning. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, talking about Dorset, we were in Dorset at Blandford. This is another place, Charmouth in Dorset. Andrew Graham has been looking at fossils, and here's a fossil. I don't know what it is, but I think it's quite big. He said, I couldn't get it away. It's too big to take. I said, surely you could get that in your pocket. But I don't think he could. So there we are. Anyway, fossils. Lots of old fossils on the Vobes show tonight, and I'm probably one of them. Yes! Ho, ho, ho. So, how are we doing with the guesses? Have we got a guess for the pig? Does anybody know the pig? Here's another picture of the pig. It's a nice looking pig. I'll give you the question one more time. I'm just going to scroll up to see if anyone's got any numbers. We've still got seems too obvious. Pam Earnshaw says 45 seemed too obvious, so went for 30 kilograms. Paul Hines says 60 kilograms is the answer. And anybody got any others on that? So what else have we got? We had some others there. 45. Somebody said 15, didn't they? Yeah. Well, I'll read it one last time. I'll give you the answer. If a pig weighs 30 kilograms plus half its own weight, how much does it weigh? Well, the answer is 60 kilograms. Paul Hine got it right because the 30 kilograms is half its own weight, you see. So if it's 30 kilograms plus half its own weight, it has to be 60 because 2 30s are 60. So That's the answer. Well done, Paul. 30 plus half, because if you were going to put half its own weight, well, anyway, it seemed obvious to me now it seems more complicated, but the answer is 60. Paul's got it, so you get the fanfare of delight, we'll call it. Yes, I guess 60. Yes, I'm right. Yeah, well done, Mark. After the event, always good. So, how are we doing on the old time front? We've got 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 15 minutes left of the show. So, we had yesterday... Oh, we've still got Maggie. Where is Maggie? We'll do that in a second. Whilst we get going, we had yesterday a number of topics my sister and I were talking about. We had a few more that we didn't get to, which was great because we had a good time. It was great to have Corinne on the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, so what, you might ask? Well... I thought we'd do go through some of these. So one of the questions that my sister was saying, she continually hears from her staff when they get to a certain point in the day when they're going off, or friends of hers who aren't working in the hospital, where she works, they often refer to something called it's wine time. Wine time. And, I don't work with lots of people in an office, as you can tell. I work on my own. Sometimes, obviously, with the lovely Julia and Richard Suggett and Paul Couchman and Dumpman, to name but a few, and many others as well, as you know. Lots of exciting guests, Cynthia Julian, and all the interesting characters that she has been bringing along, which is marvellous. Of course, Matthew Holdsworth as well. But, so I work independently with these people, but people in offices seem to have this thing called wine time, not really knowing what it means. So I was slightly worried that wine time is one of those things that's now becoming a bit of a thing, in as much as people are... The only way people can relax is to have a glass of wine or some alcoholic stimulant at the end of their day to sort of de-stress. Now, my worry is, because my mother is an alcoholic, and I did know somebody who was an alcoholic who drank a lot of wine, and then I discovered was actually hooked on the stuff. So I've known a few alcoholics in my time. This sort of wine time thing doesn't seem on the face of it like an addiction or a habit, and yet when you hear people saying, oh yes, now it's wine time, or it's time for a beer, or that sort of thing, you realise that people are having this drug, because alcohol is a drug, and you think, it's interesting, because if you said you can't have that, no, you can't have your wine time, people would be a bit upset and go, but I need it, it helps me relax. And then it makes me wonder, are people reliant on that, and are they sticking their heads in the sand and not actually admitting that they have a little problem with alcohol? I don't drink very often. I'll drink occasionally. You've seen me drink on the show. I don't drink on my own. I rarely drink in company. I'm thrilled that actually the lovely Julia doesn't drink, because when we're out and about and we go to a cafe or something, I've been with people in the past and they've insisted on having a glass of something. And it's amazing, because if you challenge them, they don't want to admit that they might be a bit habit forming with this thing. I know I don't want to get into a deep philosophical thing about and blame anybody about alcoholism or have a go at anybody, because it's a free choice. But we keep hearing this term wine time, or it's time for that, and I wonder if we are not sort of sleepwalking into lots of problems. Because the thing was, we were going to talk about this because Corinne's a nurse and she has seen so many people in the hospital who have a drink problem. They come in with, when she was in A&E in various wards, they find they can only get through the day because they have alcohol to get through the day, which is very sad, really, that people get sort of into that situation. So see what people... Gin o'clock, says Judith Oakley, yes. Jeff Jacobs says, hi, Richard. Hello, Jeff. Lovely to see you there. Thank you for coming and saying hello. Marvellous. If you're new and you've not come along before, do say hello. It's very nice to see you. So what do we got? Cheap night out then, Andy Ash. Yes, I'm a cheap night out, but, What's wrong with that? Don't need to get drunk. Judith says, I only drink alcohol occasionally now. I used to have wine every evening to distress. It's a shame, though, isn't it? A shame that one has to turn to the bottle to distress. So much pressure in places of work. Yes, I mean, we ought to be addressing why is there so much pressure in work. In this day and age, in this lifetime, we're civilized people. We shouldn't be sending our workforce home only to get addicted, because they're not going to be, in the long run, very useful in the workplace if they become addicted. I don't drink either, says Richard Suggett, very rarely. I once got so drunk that I woke up married to a pineapple. That's a nice thing to say about your wife. An ugly pineapple at that. Well, I'm not sure Amanda would be too happy to be called a pineapple. Have you been drinking, Richard? And by the way, Richard and I will be in an allotment tomorrow, unless it's raining or it's miserably cold. We're going to be doing the show, at least I hope we're still doing the show tomorrow from an allotment, the live show at 8 o'clock, British summertime. I'm looking forward to that. Jennifer Stewart says, I haven't drank alcohol in years, which is nice. Marilyn Lawrence, hello Marilyn Lawrence. Give me a cup of tea anytime. Absolutely, I'm with you. There we are. Mark Selwood says, I've never liked alcohol. Used to drink it socially before, but now never do. Well, obviously, we've got the teetotals on the show today, which is absolutely marvellous. I'm not saying that you can't drink, because I enjoy the odd drink, but I think it's when people become very dependent on it and get in and go, oh, I must have a glass of wine. And as soon as you hear people say, I must have a glass of wine, or I must have a gin and tonic, or I must have that, it's like, well, that's a warning sign in my book. Kevin Hall says, no pressure in my job, just got to get the job done as fast as possible, puffing and panting. Yes, got to get the job done as quick as possible so I can get down the pub. No, he didn't say that at all. Let's find out then, before we go, if Maggie is in any of the places that we suspect she might be. And let's find out exactly where that is. So, Maggie, where are you? You've tantalised us with this marvellous scenery, but where the devil are you?
So here we are at our destination. Now, what place has hills like these? And valleys like this? No other than windy Wales. The wonders of Wales. Yay, we made it back to the camper van.
And tomorrow we go to the beach.
Yay! Bye.
Ha! So they're in Wales, but what she didn't say was whereabouts in Wales. I immediately suspected it was Wales, Maggie. I thought, oh, those hills, it's either Scotland or Wales, but where in Wales? Well, I emailed her earlier today and found out she was near Devil's Bridge, which is near Ceredigion, which is also quite east of Aberystwyth. So that's the part of Wales she is, Ceredigion. I've been to Ceredigion. I can't say it, but I've been there. Did some filming, corporate filming, many, many years ago. Funny thing was, they said to me, these were testimonials. They wanted testimonials of people, and they wanted me to edit the testimonials and all the rest of it. And I said, yeah, of course I do that, do a lot of that sort of stuff, corporate stuff. And they often leave me to work out the bits that they want, because I know roughly what they want people to say, which was great. So we turn up and we start filming. And I'm aware that they're not talking in a language that I recognise. No, they're all talking in Welsh. And I suddenly had this awful horror that when I was going to sit in the edit suite on my own, I'll be going, how do you edit this? I can't understand a word they're saying. I don't know what bits, good testimony. For all I know, they're saying, no, this radio station is a load of rubbish. I'd never trust them with a barge pole. So in the end, I had to send off the audio from the video and say, can you tell me, give me the time code, the bits you want, the bits you don't want, because I haven't a clue what they're saying, because it's all in Welsh. Very beautiful language, very beautiful and poetic. If you know what they're saying, probably helps a bit. So it didn't help me much, but anyway, it was all very good. So, yes, well done to Maggie. If anybody wants to go out and film themselves with their camera and say where you are, do send them in. We'd love to hear from you. Of course, we love playing in your videos. And we, or if you've got a mystery photograph, where is this place? Send it in. Send it to. Don't put it on the group first, because then everybody's seen it. That's the thing. If you send it to me first, I'll play it in. And we'll see where we go from that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are running out of time. Let's see what you guys are saying before we go. Thanks, Maggie, says Jennifer Stewart. That was great. Andy Ash says, do we have anyone from Wales in? Sometimes we get young Charlie. Charlie, who's at the Welsh University. Can't remember the name of the university. She's often watching. It's nice to have her on board. Maggie says, I used to live near Ceredigion, which is... As I remember it, very stunningly beautiful. Those bits of Wales is stunningly beautiful. But I did notice, Maggie, it was raining. It was raining at the beginning on the first one. Pam says Yorkshire tea. Yes, Yorkshire tea is a very nice drink, which is very good. Paul Hine has guessed it in Wales. Kevin Hall says, yes, I was right. It's very nice. And people are still guessing where... Oh, Something's gone for a Burton. I don't know what that was, but I'll go and dig it up in a minute. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's more or less it for tonight's show. I've run out of my bits and bobs. Just to say, I'm going to the Forest of Dean, buying up some equipment. If you want to sponsor or support the show, then you are very welcome. Don't forget, you can become a patron. And the best way to become a patron, he says, looking for the thing. Here we go. Patron of Vobes. The Bald Explorer patron, www.baldexplorer.com/support. If you want to make a small donation, or you want to make a regular couple of quid a month to keep the shows going, help the Bald Explorer get out, put petrol in the car, that sort of thing, pay for the B&Bs, all that little contribution. And then if you do any of that, you will get the behind-the-scenes footage that we'll do. You'll also get my Naked Englishman podcast. That's a podcast which is the story of my life, behind the scenes. I record it every day. It's about 10 minutes, sometimes 20, sometimes 30 if you're unlucky. And it tells you sort of those things that's going on in my mind. In the past, I've charted dreadful love affairs that have gone wrong. I've charted the loss of my eye, of the bug, and the protracted 4 years of going up to Moorfields, the time when my dad had dementia, and all the business that went over. It's like EastEnders, but in podcast form. But the Archers is probably more like it. And of course, in recent times, when my son, when he was 18, had a brain hemorrhage. It's all happened, and it's all been on the Naked Englishman. And who knows what's round the corner and what's going to be happening next. And you could be one of those lucky listeners if you support the Vobes on the old Patreon. So do check that out, baldexplorer.com/support, if you would like to do it. Otherwise, of course, we put the videos out for free. We somehow managed to get it done, which is what, the remit is. And you guys support me just by coming to the show. So there's no great animosity or anything about like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Nikki Jess is off. She's always the first to leave. She's one of those that, the end caption hasn't gone up yet. And yet Nikki Jess has got her handbag and she's going, I've got to get to the car. It's parked outside. I've got to leave. And so she's whizzing out. She whizzes out. And as soon as Nikki leaves, I know it's time to go. It's kind of a sure sign, really. So thank you so much, everybody. You know what I'm going to say now, don't you? Because I say it all the time. It is the little catchphrase. When you hear this music, you know the old Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi has got to start hitching a ride to the allotment for tomorrow's show with Richard Suggett in Littlehampton, in an allotment, outside, unless it's raining. We'll keep you updated. Until then, thank you so much, everybody. It's been absolutely wonderful to do the show, even though I'm flying solo with all the lovely bits of kit. My Gorilla Pod and my new audio recorder equipment, which I shall be testing out, and I shall let you know how it goes. Until tomorrow, take care, one and all. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.